In this video, I'm going to be talking about the biggest fraud today, or the type of fraud that is so rampant it has criminals stealing more money than anything else per year. And if you guessed credit card scams and frauds, then yes, you are correct. In fact, over 40% of fraud in the US today is credit card fraud because scammers don't want to steal your identity for no reason. This is a big money business, and I'm going to be talking about why credit card fraud hasn't stopped after so many years. So many advances in security measures for credit cards and so many billions lost to fraudsters. Now, as always, before I start this video, as with any other videos I make about scams and how to avoid these scams, disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only and probably entertainment if you like this type of content. And so I hope you'll take this information and use it to help protect yourself and learn more about credit card fraud, and not to use this information and try to pull this off yourself. If you do that, then you'll most likely end up in jail. So unless you want to be in jail, then I strongly suggest that you not attempt any type of credit card fraud, even if it seems easy and untraceable. And someone commented on one of my past videos asking how anyone would know if they did a particular scam. And while someone may be able to do this and not get caught initially or not get caught at all, there's really no reason to try and participate in any scams to make money this year. You can make money on the internet legitimately with the same amount of work and tenacity that you'd apply to any of these shortcuts to wealth. So in my opinion, just don't do it. Find some other legitimate online hustle or business and make money that way. Also, if you are new to this channel, my name is Eann, and on this channel, I talk about popular scams and frauds, but more importantly, I talk about making money, saving money, investing money, and everything that has to do with personal finance. So if you like these kinds of videos, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's completely free, and I'll really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notifications, and that way you'll be able to get the updates every day when I post a new video here. Now, although every year the banks and credit card companies release some kind of new security features and send us new credit cards, over the years, fraudsters have still been able to make more money from credit card scams. If you look at this chart, you'll see that in 2016, for example, $24 billion was lost to fraudsters, and even though we have all these new security features, the amount of money taken by credit card scams seems to increase every single year. So in 2019, it was 32 billion stolen, and 2020 has a slight drop, but that's probably only because of the pandemic and fraudsters not being able to take as much money as they would in a regular year. So how does this still happen in 2021 with all the advancements in technology and security? Well, when credit card fraud started, most of the stolen funds came from card-present transactions, meaning the fraudsters would clone credit cards with equipment bought online and use the actual cards or clones to make purchases or get cash from ATMs, and this was a fairly simple and easy process. Now, as time went by, there were new features which made it harder for credit cards to be cloned. However, today, most of the credit card fraud is done by card-not-present transactions, meaning the fraudsters are ripping people off without having the actual cards or even cloning the actual credit cards. I did a video about a month ago about the worst scam on the internet, and in that video I highlighted how easy it was for fraudsters to empty your bank accounts in under 30 minutes by using phone spoofing, which allows them to call you from your bank's phone number, use a VPN and sign into your bank account pretending to be you, and trick you on the phone while it's all happening. Now, with credit card fraud, it's just as easy to get the same information for people for their credit cards. Fraudsters will create fake identities online or fake websites so as to harvest card information, or they may even call you pretending to be some company or someone else to get your credit card information. Now, if you're saying that this isn't going to happen to you, think about this. Let's say you have a home security system and you have your credit card on file with the security company and they bill you every month for the services. You'll also have the phone number of your security company in your phone in your contacts. If a fraudster spoofs the phone number and calls you, which is relatively cheap and easy to accomplish now, you'll see the number of your home security company calling, and so all they have to do is to say, "Hey, Mr. Eann, we would like to have your service at X address uninterrupted, but we were unable to charge your credit card on file. Can you provide us with another credit card? And in this example, you probably wouldn't even question it. You may try to find out why your current credit card isn't working, but the fraudster will most likely have you tell them what your credit card on file is so as to confirm it, or you may have to give them a new one, and in a day or two, they can use your credit card to purchase just about anything and convert that into cash. This type of fraud is very, very easy to do. If you compare this with the old method of purchasing expensive equipment to clone a credit card and to clone a chip, and then to use RFID scanners and walk around trying to pull information from credit cards, it's going to be a tedious job, and criminals usually don't like doing hard work. That's why they're criminals. So card not present types of credit card fraud is why this type of fraud is still going so strong and still at the top of the list when it comes on to scams, even though each year we have more and more credit card security features. Now, apart from this, there are other methods of stealing credit card data. Sometimes this comes in the form of breaches online, like that data breach that Equifax experienced a few years back, where 143 million people lost their information to fraudsters, and you have smaller attacks that take place all the time with fraudsters hacking into online accounts where they can steal multiple sets of credit card data. Now, in addition to this, fraudsters are working in groups and planning online attacks. New technology has, instead of making this harder for them, made it even easier for them to pull these types of scams and get away with it much easier than before. Anyone can access the dark web with a little research, and if you have never been on the dark web, then I would suggest that you keep it that way and not go there. However, anyone can access the dark web and learn how to access the dark web safely, and on the dark web, you can purchase just about anything. You can purchase credit card dumps, which is what a file consisting of hundreds of credit cards is referred to as. You can also purchase dumps of anything else. You can even purchase cash on the dark web. So the average criminal who probably wasn't even able to put together a scanner in an ATM machine and a pinhole camera and a fake keypad to steal your information now doesn't need to risk it all and try to do all that stuff. They can simply visit the dark web and purchase anything they need and sit around a computer somewhere and use hundreds of credit cards to make purchases, which they'll later on convert to cash. Now, if you're wondering how they get to do this so easily, well, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are all untraceable, makes it very, very easy. They can buy, they can sell, they can trade in any amount, and everything is untraceable. So if you wanted to, and I hope you don't want to, but hypothetically speaking, you could go to the dark web, purchase dumps of credit cards, pay in Bitcoin from a Bitcoin wallet that is linked to an app which makes the purchase and source of funds anonymous, use a VPN, a couple routers if you want to go that far, or public Wi-Fi, and you could potentially go on a shopping spree. Purchase high-end electronics or anything that will sell really fast. Ship them to a house that nobody lives in, pick them up outside, and then list them on Craigslist for below market value and sell them quickly and get cash. It's the easiest way for fraudsters to make money, and they don't really have to get their hands dirty. Just think about how easy it is for you to take your credit card and shop on a website. There isn't a lot of security when shopping online. Most of the security features we have on credit cards today is for in-person shopping. So you can use a credit card and shop online anywhere, and usually, as long as you are purchasing something that's within the limits of that credit card's credit line, the purchase will be approved. Even if fraudsters come across credit cards that don't work online, it doesn't really matter because they bought them in dumps, so they have hundreds of them to use. Now, the other reason why credit card fraud isn't stopping is because people don't really care anymore. For example, I used to worry a lot about getting my credit card hacked or stolen and getting into debt or losing money if someone ever tried to rip me off, and even though I was very careful all the time, it still happened to me. I lost around $10,000 from one of my credit cards as someone somewhere was able to clone my card and use it to go on a shopping frenzy. However, after reporting this to the credit card company, it only took them about 3 days to investigate and return the funds, and replace my credit card. And then I called my bank and I found out that if someone actually clones your debit card or uses it to make purchases, some banks will put the money back in your account if you report the theft in 1 to 3 days, and you won't be liable for the charges as long as you can prove that it wasn't you. And that's going to be very easy if you didn't make those charges or make those purchases. So even now, after experiencing this myself, I no longer worry about credit card theft. When I go to the pump, for example, I don't try to hide my card or walk inside to run the card. I just swipe and go, because if someone steals my credit card information and steals my money, the bank or the credit card company will return it. And I'm sure there are millions of other people who are thinking the very same thing. So there's really no incentive to try and protect credit card data. It may be an inconvenience if someone steals money from one of your cards and you're unable to use it for a week or 2 weeks. But with the average person having 3 credit cards, this isn't going to be that much of a big deal in 2021. There's also another type of credit card fraud that you've probably committed without even knowing, and this contributes to the amount of credit card fraud happening today. This is what's called friendly fraud. Friendly fraud is when you initiate a chargeback for a transaction on your credit card when you were actually the one who did that transaction. So for example, you may stop at a vending machine to grab a drink twice in a week or on your way while you're traveling, and this maybe isn't something that you normally do. And so when you look at your credit card account a week later or a few days later, you'll see this charge from a different city or state, and then you'll think it isn't you because the merchant for that vending machine, for example, is in another state or city. And so you initiate a chargeback claiming that it wasn't you, and the credit card company quickly replaces your credit card and reverses the charges or takes the loss for it. And so you get your money back and you get to keep the goods or services that you purchased. Usually this is done unintentionally from time to time, but this is another part of credit card fraud that contributes to 23 billion lost each year. Now, you may be wondering, who actually pays for this, right? Who takes the hit here? Well, the type of credit card fraud will determine who pays for the loss. So for example, if it's card-present credit card fraud where the card is cloned or stolen and physically used, then the banks and credit card companies will usually be the ones who have to take the loss and pay for it. However, if it's card not present fraud where the card was used online and wasn't actually cloned or stolen, then usually the merchants are responsible for the charges, which means that this is very bad news for small business owners because they may lose a lot to card not present fraudulent transactions. If there is a $10,000 chargeback at a big retailer, then that's definitely not going to hurt them. But for smaller local businesses or the smaller local business owner, a simple chargeback of even as little as $1,000 can be a very big deal. And a lot of card not present credit card fraud goes unreported because bigger businesses may look at reporting as a bad publicity. Who's going to want to shop at my online store when they read about 100 people getting their credit card information stolen from my website? And because smaller businesses don't usually get anywhere with catching the criminals either, there's really no point in reporting it. Also, credit card networks like Visa and MasterCard make a lot of money from credit card transaction fees, and whether or not the credit card transactions were legitimate, they still get paid their fees, so there's really no reason or incentive for them to even want to stop this kind of fraud. It's still income for them. So without making this video too long, these are the main reasons why credit card fraud is still a scam of choice in 2021. It's easy, it's really easy, it's hard to get caught, and even when people get caught, it's hard to stick a case to them because of the jurisdictional problems that law enforcement face. And in the Western world, people prefer convenience over safety. We will happily put our cards in apps and browsers that will save them just so we can check out online with one tap. If you've ever been a victim of credit card scams, comment below and let me know how much money you lost and if you were able to recover that money. As always, thanks for watching. Remember not to try any types of credit card scams because you will go to jail. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked the content and you found it helpful. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification icon so you can get notified when I post new videos here. Check all the links down below in the description for free and helpful stuff, including WEBULL, where you can get 2 free stocks, and also SOFI Money, where you can get a hybrid account with no fees and get cash just for signing up. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.